Hi everyone, lovely to see you all for our next baking session, and a special hello today to Lewis, who is a fabulous baker and loves to practice. Me and Mary think he might be on Junior Bake Off one day. I've begun by preparing the tray that the flapjack is going to be cooked in. This tray is about 30 centimetres by 20, so something roughly that size for this recipe. If you're making half the amount in the recipe, just a little square tin will be big enough. So all I've done is put a bit of oil around the tin and added some baking paper. I would advise to definitely use baking paper for this one, or greased tinfoil would also do, as it does have a habit of sticking on the bottom. I've also put the oven on to 160. Mine's a fan oven, or gas mark 4 if you have a gas oven. So this makes a decent amount of flapjack. And we want 200 grams of margarine, which is 195, not a bad guess. And 150 grams of light brown sugar. This gives it a nice sort of caramelly taste and a nice colour. If you haven't got this, ordinary sugar is absolutely fine. So the basis of a flapjack is sugar, syrup and margarine or butter. And then after that, it's really up to you what you want to add to it. Next is the syrup, and we need 2 tablespoons, which is a bit tricky when it's in a tin, a bit messy. So you might be lucky enough to have a squeezy tube, which is so much easier. But if you could get some hot water out the tap and put your tablespoon, that's the tablespoon one, in to warm, it definitely makes it a lot easier for the syrup to come off. So hopefully it'll just drop off. And there's one. And I'm down to the bottom of the tin. I'll need to get some more. 2. There we go. So we've got the 3 ingredients in the pan, and this then just needs to be melted slowly on the hob. Try and get an adult to help you with this bit. You don't want it to bubble away and burn, just a general simmer. Okay? While that's melting slowly, we'll weigh out 100 grams of cornflakes. Which is quite a lot. And 150 grams of porridge oats. Pour this. So as I said earlier, you can half this mixture, as it does make quite a lot. And 75 grams of self-raising flour. You might find it easier to measure them all out separately and then put them together. So at this stage, you can have whatever you like in your flapjack. So dried fruit, seeds, chocolate chips. I like apricots and raisins in mine. And I find it easier to use a pair of scissors to cut the apricots up just to small little pieces. My apricots and raisins, and I've had to switch bowls because the one I had was too small. So in they go, and give them a stir around. And by now your syrup and butter should be melted. I'll be very careful because it's hot. So carefully pour the melted margarine and syrup and sugar into the dry ingredients and just give them a good stir. Once it's all mixed together, then just pop it into the tray. And smooth it down. This then goes in the oven for about 20 minutes, but keep your eye on it in case it burns. Lewis, I'll let you into a little secret. Because I'm not at school and I'm at home, my favourite thing is raw flapjack. So I'm just scraping all the little bits off the spoon and then I get to taste it. That's lovely. So while that's cooking, you could do the dishes. So while that's cooking, you could do the dishes. And while it's hot, if you can just get a wee round-ended knife and just take it round the edge. Be careful because the tin is hot. Just to make sure it hasn't stuck to the sides. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult to get it out once it's cooled. And then just leave it to cool for 5 or 10 minutes and then we'll flip it out. So I've left that for 10 to 15 minutes to cool, and now I'm going to get just a thin chopping board and pop it on the top and hold it tight and flip it over, and hopefully it hasn't stuck. So before it gets too cold, you want to cut out your pieces, whatever size pieces you want. I again like to use my ruler, and I find you get about 5 strips if you go like that. Being careful again with the knife. And then a couple going the opposite way. You might need a little bit of help with this. Okay. So I've put half the flapjack onto a plate, and the other half I'm going to either keep in a tin or pop in the freezer for maybe at the weekend. So Lewis, I hope you got on okay. Remember, don't let your dad eat too much of this flapjack. And you could maybe send me a photograph of yours when you've managed to make it. Take care. Bye.